Tonight on Unsolved It's just scrolling through his phone.
Making sure I have the right stuff pulled up.
Hello and welcome to Entertain This, a podcast about movies, TV shows, and video games. My name is Hayden. With me I have Mitch.
Hi,
Hey.
Mitch.
And Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Today we were talking about our favorite reality TV shows.
Is it reality TV?
Well, it's docuseries / reality.
Doc-
Real life stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So like Mythbusters and whatnot.
Semi-scripted.
And Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Great show.
we'll get to that in a little bit. In the meantime, let's talk about our social media. Mitchell.
All right, we have our Facebook, which is Facebook.
Our Facebook, which is Facebook.
It's Facebook. Entertain This Podcast is the group on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Entertain This is the page. Then we have our Instagram, which is @entertain.this. We have our Twitter, which is @this.entertain. And then we have our YouTube page, which is Entertain This! !
Very nice. Yes. Important, that exclamation point.
Yes.
For,
Not the evil ellipses.
yeah, for obvious reasons. Also, somebody got punished.
And it wasn't us.
Right? Tom, this is what? How many weeks in a row now?
3? Is it 3 weeks? Well, it was this one, then what? Shaq Fu and the Neil Breen Classic.
Mm-hmm.
You've almost got up to 5 like me. Almost.
Almost. It's been 3 in a row.
What'd you have to-
Unprecedented.
What'd you have to do last week?
I had to watch the show Animorphs. Joke's on you. I like that show.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It wasn't bad?
No.
Oh, man.
It was very nostalgic
Ugh.
because I couldn't find it on Netflix. And I was like, damn, I'm going to have to pay money. So I went to Amazon, and there's 2 seasons of it.
Really?
And I forgot how long ago it came out. The show came out in 1999.
What?
I thought it was only 1 season.
How many did you buy? Just like an episode or
No,
two?
I bought the whole season.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like $10. I watched 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah. What was the dumbest plot out of all those episodes?
It really wasn't like that dumb.
Somebody had to turn into a dolphin to like clip, the little ringlets, the Coke ringlets.
Yeah, the
Something
Coke
like
ringlets.
that, to save
Yeah,
the
there's
fish.
dolphins railing Coke.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that, to save the environment. That something like that had to happen at some point. Didn't
No.
they?
No, there was no dolphins doing cocaine.
Oh, okay.
That would have been cool. That would have been a different show. None of them actually turned into dolphins. So far, one of them turned into a dog, another one turned into a cat, a lion, a rat, a white tiger,
Okay.
a horse, and a falcon.
Wow. Somebody needs to have like a weird animal, like a naked mole rat.
So it actually, I forgot the guy who played Iceman
Mhm.
in the original X-Men movies. He's in the show. He's like the lead
Yeah, he's
guy.
like the main person.
And
Yeah.
I was watching. I was like, "Hey, that's Iceman." And I saw the other people, and I was like, "I don't know who any of them are."
So
None of you were in anything else.
how's it work? Like they just got like
So-
a superpower.
I'll explain the premise of this show for those of you who have lived under a rock during the 90s and didn't read the books or watch this TV show.
Books were pretty dumb. I'm not.
So
gonna
there's
lie.
4 friends. There's 2 guys and 2 girls. I don't remember any of their names. One of his name was Jake
from State Farm.
I don't
from
remember any
State
of their
Farm.
names.
That he becomes Jake from State Farm. This is his origin story, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other kid named Tobias. And like I like how they always give these kids like crazy foreign names in these nondescript towns.
All right.
So they're running around at night doing God knows what. And like they're like always going through some like abandoned factory place.
It's
When
the
they're like,
logical
"What's
cut-through
that in the
place.
sky?" And like the worst animated spaceship comes landing and crashes.
So aliens.
Aliens.
Okay.
Aliens.
Mm.
So this blue Pegasus horse fellow, centaur looking chap, comes
All right.
trotting down the plank, falls, eats it. He's just laying there like, ugh, and he doesn't have like a mouth. They have like no nose.
He's an Endolite.
And
Yeah.
I'm having the weirdest picture in my head.
But they got like,
Continue on.
pointy elf ears and like the Shrek looking things. I don't know if they're
The
eyes.
Shrek looking.
Yeah,
Like the antennas.
yeah, it's another set of eyeballs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's got like really big like cat looking eyeballs and he's like communicating with them telepathically. And he says
This
like
sounds like a Power
who,
Rangers.
like the plot is there's these bad guys, but they're bugs.
They're
Okay.
like little
It's
slugs.
it's like little slugs like crawl in your ear and like latch onto your brainstem and take over the world.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that Star Trek thing,
Yeah, and Invasions of the Body Snatchers kind of
pretty
thing,
much.
Yeah.
Which is actually they joke about it in the show because
yeah.
like the guys like one of the guys' dad is like watching the original, the movie.
Yeah. Was it the one with Donald Sutherland?
They showed like 4 seconds of
He
the
was like,
movie. Yeah,
What is that
it
thing?
was that scene specifically.
Really?
Donald Sutherland going, oh. No. So they're always like, oh, it's like, let's get the hell out of here. And the guy and the Iceman kid is just like, he needs help. So they go over to the alien
Yeah.
and they start talking to him and he gives him like the Animorph power. But he just holds up this like big white glowing cube.
Yeah.
And the 5 of them have to touch it and get the power of like the Animorph thing where all they have to do is touch an animal to get its DNA and then they could turn into that animal.
So that like they're not always going to be a cat. Like if he wants to,
No.
if he wants to be a
Whatever animal that they
ferret.
touch. Yeah,
He
if he
can-
touches a
alright.
ferret,
Yeah.
bam, he could become a ferret.
okay,
But only for 2 hours.
Oh.
Otherwise, the process becomes permanent
and so it's basically they solve their hijinks and whatnot
as animals.
through the power of being an animal because
Yes.
that's better than being a human. In what situation would being a cat help you more than being a human being?
Recon.
Recon, which they actually do. That actually happens. The girl turns into a cat and like sneaks and goes, "Oh, the thing's over here," and like runs back and tells everybody. And then another one like causes a distraction. They try to like they get like this disc thing that apparently like one of them's supposed to guard, and he immediately like the guy like tries to like throw it to him, and the kid just runs away. And then the other one, they recover it, and he's got it in his jacket pocket. And there's like no way it's gonna be gone.
Right.
And then they send him a message like, "Oh, we have this, and you guys need to turn yourselves in, or we'll do that stuff." And they're like, "Oh, they got the disc." It's like, how does the disc even work? Like, why do we need this? I haven't explained it yet. I haven't gotten that far into the show.
Did they get caught by like a dog catcher or anything like that?
No, they haven't been caught by a dog catcher.
No.
They almost got caught, but 2 of them turned into like small gecko lizards or whatever from like science class. And like the bad guy is the bad guy's the principal of the school.
Always.
Always. It's always an authoritarian figure. And he
Bueller.
picks it up and he's like, "Disgusting creature," and like throws it. And
Really?
the kid like runs underneath the door and it turns into a regular kid and just blends in with the rest of the classes, like getting out. And the guy like runs out like, "Where'd that lizard go?" It's
What
like,
about their clothes and stuff?
yeah, that morphs too.
Yeah.
It's not like
all
together. Obi-Wan where he gets cut in half by Darth Vader and he's just clothes, and it's like either he's morphed to the Force or there's somebody running around naked.
Yeah, I guess you probably couldn't have naked children running around.
I
on a
will
TV
say
show.
for a 1999 show, the transformation sequences that they show
yeah.
are actually pretty good. It doesn't look horrible. It looks pretty decent.
The books always had the stupidest covers
Mm-hmm.
with like somebody transforming into a dolphin. They just look like some weird inbred thing somewhere in between. Just
It's like normal person, dolphin, and in the middle is Alabama.
yeah,
And then bam.
and that's all you ever see. You never like think of the normal person or the dolphin. You just see like the gross in between.
But like the
It ain't
animals,
natural.
like they have like the one girl, of course, her mom runs this like farm sanctuary for like these animals. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna have to do something better than like dogs or whatever. We need, different animals. And it's like, oh, let's go to the exotic exhibit. And there's just, tigers, lions. It's like, what is your mom doing with these animals? It's like, surely there must be some sort of licensing involved. And they're just in these like big rooms with just, like little steel bar cages.
She's the Tiger Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Well,
It's Carol Baskin.
if you watch that show, you don't really need that much licensing.
No, it's you basically just like if you have the money to afford it, you can
And
have a tiger.
If Shaq can just walk up and be like, "I want to buy that tiger," and this is the '90s, I'm sure it could probably
It
work
could
out.
be done.
Yeah, so
And it's like you just gotta touch it. It's like, what do you mean? He has to go in the cage and touch and it like
starts
touch the damn tiger.
he starts getting mauled by a tiger. That's not what I mean.
It's like, yeah, and he's like, make this like noise, like a almost like purry sound, like it calms down the tiger. And I'm like, and he's just walking towards the tiger, and I guess it has to be trained animals, obviously. But I'm like watching it, and I'm like,
Low budget.
low budget, and I'm watching. I'm
Just
like,
get whatever
they
you
have a white Siberian tiger just hanging out, and like his environment is floor and like a couple bales of hay, and that's what he's resting on, and he's just sitting up there just doing tiger stuff,
Yeah,
Tiger stuff.
just minding its business.
just minding his own business.
So this was Nickelodeon, right? Was this Nickelodeon? That
I
made
think
the
this
show?
was Nickelodeon. Yeah.
So I remember they had they had a really strange lineup of live action shows back in the day. Like,
Animorphs. Are you afraid of the dark?
yeah,
Are You Afraid of the Dark was a great show.
All that.
traumatized me. Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
I remember Hey Dude.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest show. I have no idea what was even going on in that show. Just a bunch of people whining about horses and stuff.
Nickelodeon back in the day was, that was the stuff.
Salute Your Shorts. That was the best one.
It was called what?
Salute your shorts.
You remember that?
No.
Camp Anawana, we hold you in
our
our heart.
hearts.
And when we think about you,
it makes us wanna fart.
You never seen
What?
it?
No. You're making this up.
That's a great show.
You rehearsed that. That's not a real thing.
That's a real show. I guess that shows our age difference a little bit.
Yeah, the 4-year age gap between the two of us.
Yeah, great show.
But Animorphs, I watched it. I'll probably keep watching it just because I'm gonna get my money's worth.
Okay.
So
it cost you less than Neil Breen.
it did. It cost $2 less than watching Fateful Findings.
Yeah,
And one episode had better production quality.
in the 90s.
The first episode, the 1999 show Animorphs, has better production quality than Neil Breen's Fateful Findings, which came out in 2015.
Yep. Yep.
The acting's better.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So
The effects are better. The
Kinda-
music is better.
I'm kind of disappointed that you liked it, though. I was really
I
hoping
liked
that
it when it came out in 1999.
Yeah, but I was hoping you'd go back and look and be like, this was really bad.
what was
You know what show I really hated, Mitch? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Hated that show.
That's terrible.
Horrible. Bad.
What would you rate this show?
I give it a 6.
Really?
I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little nostalgic. I mean, it's obviously watching it now, it's a little corny.
What was the
But-
most 90s thing you saw on that show?
The clothes.
Yeah.
I was like, God, why was everything just baggy? Everything was just so much none of your clothes fit.
Everybody just looked like they woke up.
They're all
out of bed.
hand-me-downs.
Like they just woke up wearing their clothes, just went to school.
It's like that kid's wearing a nice leather business suit looking jacket, and that's completely normal for the 90s.
Yeah. I don't know. Cool. Well, your punishment is done until
It
the end
wasn't
of this
really a
episode.
punishment.
Get a nice reprieve.
Darn.
So, all right, moving on to our news section. Each week we do a little bit of research in the 3 mediums.
And when we say little bit, we can't stress the amount of little bit.
hey, we wrote some stuff down. So, let's do movies first. Who has movies?
I did.
Go for it.
You know how we said Free Guy's coming out December 10th? We lied. The day of the last podcast when we said that, they said, we're going to delay it indefinitely. So at the moment, there is no release date for Free Guy, which is Ryan Reynolds' video game kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing.
I'm thinking they probably spent a ton of money on that movie, and they really don't want to put it on streaming because they want to get that box office and everything. So
Yeah, it's just kind of disappointing. It was supposed to come out back in June.
they didn't even have a release date.
No.
I mean, let's be serious. I mean, Bond was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah.
We've talked about the release of that movie several times on this show. It still hasn't come out.
Yeah, Dune's been pushed off for a year. It's all up and down with these movies, these huge, giant blockbusters. I wonder if, because of Corona and stuff now, their producers and studios are going to be like, let's not spend $300 on a movie ever again.
$300 on a movie.
$300 million. $300 million on a movie ever
I'm not
again.
giving you $300 to make this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Neil Breen. Get out.
Well, unfortunately, all these great, or possibly great blockbuster movies are getting pushed back. But don't worry. Melissa McCarthy is making a new super intelligence movie, which is supposed to be a comedy based about a AI that might take over the world, may or may not.
I'm
Okay.
so done with Melissa McCarthy movies.
And,
They're not funny. They're just stupid.
And what gets me is people still go to watch these. It's I don't know. It's just the comedy is not funny.
It's like you're the best character. The role she best ever had was as that other side person in Gilmore Girls.
No, I was going to say Bridesmaids was pretty funny. She was pretty funny in Bridesmaids.
Yeah, that wasn't horrible.
But somebody struck a I guess I think it's marketed towards middle-aged women,
She's the female Zach Galifianakis.
and they a lot of ladies get together after their morning mimosas and they go and watch a Melissa McCarthy movie, and then they could talk about their husbands.
You know what else the world needed?
What?
Another Olympus Has Fallen movie.
Yeah,
Gerard Butler's making another one of those.
This is the fourth one, right?
it's just
I don't know.
It's just a weird thing to make a series out of. I remember when the first one came out, I was like, okay, that's a thing. It's kind of like Die Hard with the president. Gotcha.
It was a cool concept.
And then they made a sequel, and I was like, I could have done without that. Whatever. They're in London for some reason. Okay.
Things are going on. Morgan Freeman. Okay.
I just like how every movie that comes out in a franchise like this, like Die Hard or whatever, they have to one up the last one. Like eventually, you can only save the world so many times before it becomes, anticlimactic. So.
Or people just start quite like, why is it this happening and you're always doing it? What have you been up to?
Yeah, like how do you guys ignore everything that's happened up to this point? And it's always the same thing. Like the John McClane character is always just like, you need to listen to me. There's bad guys doing stuff. They're like, no, we didn't listen to you for the first 4 times and it worked out. We're not going to start now. And then like the world almost blows up.
And they're like, man, we should have listened to you. And then he like walks up. He's like all disheveled looking and bloody. He punches a guy in the face, makes out with a woman, and then leaves.
Now, I don't know about this one, but I know the last one that they kind of framed Gerard Butler's character like, well, you've been doing all this stuff, saving him. And now they kind of framed him as like he was the one going after him, yet he had the president with him and they were hiding out.
Yeah, he got shot like 8 times throughout these series. I don't think that's...
Probably more.
Yeah.
It's like, ow.
Yeah, I don't think that's part of it. That's a good cover-up if that's the case.
I mean, there are series that have done like that kind of stuff well, where it's always these two or this person. And like they spoof it and almost make fun of themselves with it.
Yeah.
Like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Like something's going on and they're like, oh, who's in the car chase? It's like these guys and, Riggs and Murtaugh. And they just go, all right, my money's on Riggs and Murtaugh. And like, they start taking bets on him.
Yeah. It's kind of like, how much reasonable is like the reach of this film. Like for instance, okay, cops are in Lethal Weapon movies. They're chasing a bank robber. All right, who stole $200,000 out of a bank, and they caused $6 million of destruction on the way to apprehend these guys.
Gotta get them bad guys.
we got our action, we got our eye candy out of the movie. It was a lot of fun, but the reality of the situation is like eventually gets exhausting. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe they'll just reinvent the wheel again with this new one. What's it called?
I don't know what the name of this one's going to be
think it's called Night Fallen.
Night Fallen?
Night has fallen. So what? He has to stop nighttime?
Yeah, vampires.
What do we do? I don't know. Wait 12 hours for the sun to come up?
That'd be the only way they could like one up the previous ones. He's already like stopped nukes and stuff from going off. So
what's that stupid series of movies that they made fun of it or made in Tropic Thunder? Like Ben Stiller.
What is that called? Oh no.
That's like basically what this is.
I know what
Scorcher, Scorched Earth, or Scorcher.
Yeah, the Scorcher.
It's like this time's like Ice Age.
Yeah, he's got like 2 babies in his
and
hands.
He's got like an Eskimo like suit on. He's just like, time to turn up the heat.
You make me happy.
Sample check. You will like Sample check.
I just want them to stop delaying things. At what point does everybody else goes back to work? Everybody else is doing everything, but movies, nah.
Or just do it where like, all this nonsense happens and there's a guy in an office who just controls drones and like electronic stuff. And it's like, oh, this stuff's going, we got to get Gerard Butler. We got to get this guy to do all this stuff. And he just goes like, what's going on? And he just like, hang on, pulls up a new tab and just goes click, 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 click. And boom. All right, we're done. We won. It's over.
And just already have all the footage pre-recorded. They can just cut together a movie.
It's like, what'd you do? I hacked into the base they're in. I closed all the doors, turned off the ventilation. They'll suffocate in about 8 hours.
Yeah.
But that's my news. I'll move on to my review.
Okay.
What'd you watch?
I watched Love and Monsters, which there's not a lot of love.
Love and Monsters.
Yes.
Not Love and Monsters.
Love and
Monsters.
Yes.
So there's some love and some monsters.
Right. It basically like the plot of this is there's an asteroid coming to Earth. Well,
happens all the time.
The Earth joins together, shoots nukes at it, destroys the asteroid, and then the nuclear fallout mutates all of the cold-blooded creatures on the planet. And those cold-blooded creatures end up killing 90% of the human population.
It's like, whoops. That was an unforeseeable setback.
Well, then the movie, after that happens, it jumps forward. It's either 5 or 7 years, and you have all these people that basically live in underground bunkers or like scavengers on the run from like a frog that's the size of a swimming pool.
Okay,
it's a big frog.
Yeah, but like he tells a joke like describing what happened. Like this one kid's goldfish like mutated overnight and ate him.
Wow,
it's pretty.
Did he flush the kid, like the remainder of the kid, down the toilet?
Slowly playing taps.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's worth watching.
Was it a comedy?
It's certain times it takes itself serious. At certain times it's very comedic, But it's about this boy who's, I guess he's, probably 16, 17, somewhere around there. Well, his girlfriend, he's 16, 17, and then finds out his girlfriend is living in a community that's 80 miles away.
Yeah.
Well, he's tired of being the only single person in their bunker, so he's going to go find his girlfriend.
This was his girlfriend before the apocalypse?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Yes.
So basically, this is a quest for love.
He's been talking to her through like those little ham radios. Like somehow he checked like 90 something places and eventually found her on the radio.
Uh-huh.
And,
Why didn't you just tell him where she was?
Well, he didn't know.
Or was he getting catfished?
Well, when everything went to crap, they were kind of separated, and he found them.
Was this a road trip movie?
Well, it was only the one guy.
What do you mean?
Like he's walking through.
Okay, so it's a road walking.
There's no vehicles.
All right.
Everything's gone down the drain. Like there's no vehicles. They have like a generator running on power in like this missile silo.
What? All right.
All the bullets are already gone. They've used them all. So basically, you take this guy and he's terrified of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and when he's terrified, he like freezes up.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to overcome his fears, take his crossbow, and go 80 miles on foot across the land with all these giant, mutated looking things.
So this is basically like, a quest through Australia.
Yeah, pretty much. And what's kind of funny is like, without telling too much, he comes across Michael Rooker and a little girl that are like these living on the surface scavengers that help him out. But it's pretty funny. It's got its moments. He comes across a dog, which becomes like his best friend that helps him get across. This dog's like super smart.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he is.
Like he closes doors and things like that.
It's
for him.
Air Bud.
Pretty much. But it was a fun movie to watch. It's not something I would watch over and over and
Where'd
over.
you watch it on?
Streaming?
You don't. Oh yeah, that's right. you found your ulterior means to watch this movie.
I watched it on an app.
Anybody notable in it
You got
aside from Michael Rooker?
what's his name? Dylan O'Brien. He was the main
Maze
guy.
Runner?
The Maze Runner.
Okay.
You got Jessica Henwick, which I don't know a lot of things. I know she was in Iron Fist as like the Asian girl.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know what else she's been in other than that though. But she's the guy's girlfriend that he's going to find, and
She was in Game of Thrones. Jessica
was?
Henwick. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was.
She was one of the Viper sisters or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's the
I
one
know
that
you're
he's
talking
going to
about.
save, and it was a good movie. It's not something great, but it was given a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. I would probably give it a 7, 7.5, just because it was better than I think it could have.
Then you thought it would be.
Yes, right.
It should be one of those movies like on Amazon or something like that instead of the crappy Amazon movies that you can watch now. Like,
You can get it on Amazon, but you got to pay like the
Yeah.
theater price thing.
I don't. The free movies on Amazon right now are hard to watch. They need to come up with some better stuff. But well, cool. So I'm glad you liked it. Did you see? Just not to get away from movies just yet. Did you see the news article about the witches?
Yeah.
Oh,
That they apologized for Anne Hathaway.
What happened? I haven't seen.
Apparently it sucked.
So all right, HBO Max. I don't know if you ever saw the original Witches. It's a I can't remember the name. Ronald Gall book, like a children's book.
It's creepy though.
The original one had what's her name from Addams Family.
Like Morticia, yeah. I don't know her name.
God, I forgot her name too.
Like
But
the
anyway,
movies or the show?
the movies, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, she was the main witch, and she was creepy. She had this like long nose, and these
Spindly little
fingers that like had like
They
knives.
had
basically,
like bugles on them.
yeah, but this remake that has Anne Hathaway, and it's kind of like a weird choice that they decided to do with her. They had like her normal face, but they made her bald, but then they gave her like 3 fingers. Okay.
I haven't seen the movie, so
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I just
Oh.
seen her pictures, and she's just got these like 3 fingers, like she's like a weird looking bird
Mm-hmm.
hand thing. Well, that's the offensive part, is that she has these 3 fingers. Apparently, there's a community of people out there that are only have 3 fingers. Only have and so they said they didn't like being identified as an evil witch, and now everybody's calling them witches and stuff in the streets and whatnot. I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, if you identify with someone who's a bad guy just because you share a similar feature, the problem might be with you, not with everybody else.
It's like, what
You're
about
in
people
for
who
a
have
long,
6
hard
fingers on their
life.
right hand?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I would actually be kind of cool with that. But anyways, that's like the biggest to do right now with film. And like she apologized, HBO apologized. I wonder if they're gonna like fix
Take it down.
I have no idea.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe
Which is
all
the
these
five-finger cut.
maybe all these like theaters and production companies should just go, you know what? Screw it. Bite me.
If you didn't like it, sorry.
Learn-
If you don't watch it.
Yeah, it's like get over it. I'm tired of people having to apologize for stupid crap.
I don't think anybody would walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, you with the 3 fingers, you're a witch." I saw that movie. I don't think
People just look to be offended by something.
Yeah. I mean, whatever.
It's like I'm offended that that bad guy wears glasses. I wear glasses.
And maybe like there's some like real ulterior marketing scheme behind it. Maybe people are like, seeing these news articles and they're like, what are people talking about? And then they go watch the movie, and they're making money off of it. So, but
see what all this hullabaloo is about.
yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I thought that was stupid and worth talking about. So
I knew they had some kind of like had to apologize for something, but I didn't know what it was.
There it is.
Whoop.
Yep. I mean, I wish that we could just re-release movies from the 90s today and act like they never existed before just to see people's reaction. Like
People lose their mind.
Big Trouble in Little China. Let's see who can piss off with that classic movie. All right, TV shows.
I had them.
What'd you have?
You want the news first or you want the movies?
I don't care.
Or the
I don't care.
All right, well, we'll do news because that's what you did.
All right.
New Star Wars show.
Yeah.
Another one.
Another one.
With the lady.
Another one. Yeah, with a lady.
The lady that's making it. It's supposed
Leslie
to be like a feminazi thing.
Helen. Yeah, pretty much. So Star Wars is coming out with a new show. What's it? Leslie Heland.
Yeah.
Apparently, it takes place in like a alternate timeline of Star Wars,
All right.
but it's still canon.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I think they're just setting it at a time that's not during the movies.
When did we get time travel? Alternate timeline.
I don't know. It's believe it, a female-driven action thriller because Star Wars is completely devoid of strong female characters. Totally, it's a sausage fest.
I like Family Guy when they're doing Blue Harvest and they're like meeting around the Imperial Death Star plans, plotting how to destroy it. And then there's that lady that just starts talking about how to blow up the Death Star. And Peter, who's playing Han Solo, is like, "Who's that lady?" And then Lois, who's playing Princess Leia, she's like, "I don't know who she is, but I don't like her." Just immediately, just because two women can't like each other in movies
Or in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So apparently that's a show that's been greenlit to take place and happen. That's literally all we know about it right now.
Of course it has.
I don't think.
I bet you it gets made before Obi-Wan gets made.
No, I think it's gonna get shot down. I bet you'll be littered with production nightmares, and they're gonna have a lot of people like they're gonna end up like just ignoring rules about Star Wars and trying to make this thing because they obviously have an agenda with this, and I think we'll get shot down. So
I think it will too. I hope it gets shot down.
Me too.
I mean, who knows? Maybe
I hope this thing gets shot down like Biggs Darklighter
What?
and the Death Star run.
Maybe we don't know. There could be some merit to the story that we don't see yet, and it could be something really good. And
Still waiting for that Darth Vader show.
we'll see what happens. Who knows?
Star Wars has enough characters that haven't been explored that they don't need to make up new ones. They just need to talk more about the ones you never hear about.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I think
give
that's
us more
fair.
background and story to these side characters. It was like, oh, that guy's cool.
I think if you want a female protagonist driven story, which has been done before and did pretty successful as far as I'm concerned with Rogue One.
Yeah.
There's other things you could do.
They could just give Ahsoka her own show.
That would be really cool. Yeah. So, but see, like the problem with that from a marketing standpoint is she's not a human. So,
Who cares?
Or what about the girl, Amelia Clark's character from Solo?
that was a dumb movie.
It was a dumb movie. But I mean, she's working for Darth Maul. She's in
Nah.
like the black market. It's like that could be neat.
I don't care about anybody in that movie. That movie almost made me hate Han Solo. So,
It was not good. Other news, the Loki TV series is supposed to be getting released early next year.
Oh, okay. I knew it was in production, but I didn't know when.
Yeah, they started filming in January, got delayed because of COVID and all that crap, and then they picked back up in September. So it's supposed to be a 6-episode series, and it's supposed to be part of Phase 4 for the MCU, and it will have Tom Hiddleston playing Loki. It also features Sophia DiMartino, Owen Wilson. Wow. Gugu Mobatha -Raw. And
that guy.
Sasha Lane. I don't know who any of those people are. I know who Owen Wilson is.
So this is the Loki. Well,
It's
The
based
Loki-
on
the one that
an
escaped.
Endgame where he steals the Tesseract and just vanishes.
All right.
This is his adventures now.
So he's still like shenanigans Loki.
He's
not-
still very
he-
much shenanigans.
He's
Loki.
not redemptive Loki.
Right.
No.
Um,
This is not Ragnarok Loki. This is, getting smashed into the ground by the Hulk Loki.
Disney's got a lot. They got Mandalorian and they got WandaVision, and then they have this coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're still working on the Hawkeye show, and then they got the Winter Soldier and Falcon, which comes out next year.
okay. So they got a good little lineup.
They
We're
got
about
Moon
to-
Knight. They're still working on She-Hulk.
I feel like they're making up because like having Disney Plus this past year was kind of useless. Besides the Mandalorian, there wasn't really that much else worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of disappointed in the Mandalorian this season so far. It's been pretty much it's been stupid. I'm gonna
Boba
say
Fett.
it.
I haven't
okay.
seen episode 2 yet. So.
Boba Fett's cool, but the episode 2 was just
Filler.
useless. Yeah, it was like expensive filler. Like, what
Which
is the
means,
point?
most shows like that do that. It's like,
But
cool,
if you have
cool start, filler episodes.
but
Like the next
if you
episode
have-
must be good.
if
then.
you have 8 episodes per season,
Each one should be amazing.
exactly. There shouldn't be like a useless in between episode.
But now they're going to start turning like that Walking Dead formula.
I don't know. They already
We'll open it up with some cool stuff. Nothing for weeks.
They already talked
and
about
then
season 4.
action, plot, the cliffhanger. Now you got to watch the next season, which comes out in like 6 months. And there's a freaking gnat in here.
They already said season 4 has been greenlit for Mandalorian. So.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
I watched Truth Seekers,
No.
the Simon Pegg and Nick Frost show, which came out about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I was going to talk about it in time for it, but Hayden had watched something else for a TV show and said, "No, I'm reviewing TV this week."
That's exactly what I said.
So this in that tone,
Dictatorship.
in that tone, exactly. 8 episodes. I was gonna just watch a couple. I ended up binging the whole season out in like one morning. It's a funny show. It's a pretty good because it's got Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Malcolm McDowell, who if you don't know who he is,
Clockwork Orange guy.
Clockwork Orange guy, and a bunch of other movies that I'm not going to name because he was in a lot of stuff. Julian Barrett from The Mighty Boosh, the guy with the mustache, not Noel Fielding.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was a show, British comedy show. So the premise is Nick Frost works for, I guess, AT&T, a spoof version of AT&T called Smile, and Simon Pegg is his boss, and he's wearing this ridiculous toupee, and he's this part-time paranormal investigator who makes crappy YouTube videos and has 112 subscribers.
That's like
remember-
us, except we talk about entertainment instead of hunting ghosts.
I remember seeing he showed one of his videos to his colleague, and it's like, "Did you see that door close? That's 9 hours of elapsed footage. It's a really slow ghost."
It's a really slow ghost. And his partner is a guy who starts working at the company, and his name is Elton John, which is dumb. And they start going through, and the kid ends up being he's a magnet for paranormal stuff. So he wants to quit the job, and Nick Frost is like, "No!" It's we got to do all this stuff, and then they meet this other girl, and then they start hanging out and going on all these crazy, wacky ghost adventures. And then there's some other plot stuff, and this evil book made out of human skin.
Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon. And it's not laugh out loud funny.
Do you smell bad? Why are there flies? buzzing?
No, it's just one.
I just see us swatting.
I'm about to put a contract out on this gnat. $5, kill him.
Shower
He's on
more.
I did shower, you son of a. Yeah, got him.
Anyway.
He's going for my Red Bull. Sack of shit.
All right. Make our people bleep stuff.
Beep. There you go. Beep.
All right, go ahead.
I will say Malcolm McDowell is. I didn't know he could do comedy that well.
Yeah.
He is hysterical because he shows up in the beginning and he's going down this stand and stair lift thing at the speed of smell, and he's got his bathrobe on, and Nick Frost is sitting there typing. And he looks in the mirror and goes, "Can you wear underwear?"
Yeah.
And he's just like, "No, it's my house." And then
That's a fair point.
they come over and he's taking the stupid stair lift to try to get upstairs to get ready because he's just in his pajamas and a bathrobe. He gets 3 steps up And he's just sitting there like looking at the top. And he just gets out and sprints. And it's like, why is he even in the chair?
I saw the first episode where like he's sitting in it arguing with the Nick Frost character. He just reaches over and clicks the button. He's yelling at him as he's going up the steps.
He turns on the lift and he just starts giving him the business.
I wish I could have like apparatuses take people away from me like that.
And then he makes like this dopey video to like, he sends like a video to like Elton John's like sister who has like her own YouTube channel. Because like the two of them click on like a whole bunch of stuff, and he sends it to her, but like it does doing like the Snapchat like filter with like bunny ears, and he's like, "What the?" And he starts screaming, like cursing, like swatting at stuff that's not there and acting up, and then it uploads, and he's like, "What does that say?" Upload. Ah, shit.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get Nick Frost to delete it, but it gets him all these subscribers because it's so dumb. It's it's one of those viral videos, and he's like, "All right, I'll delete it," and he pulls up his laptop and goes. All right, it's gone forever. He's like, you just made noise and didn't do anything. He's like, no, it's gone forever. It's a fun show. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Simon Pegg's not really in it though. Like he's a character, but not like a main character. Right?
Yeah, he's in 7 of the 8 episodes.
So if you're into
The dynamic duo of
that's
Frost
not
and
it's
Pegg.
not exactly that, right?
It's pretty much about Nick Frost.
Okay.
And the other two side characters, Elton John and
if you
the
want to
girl.
watch if you want to watch a David Spade and Chris Farley movie, you're mostly getting David Spade out of this one. Sorry.
Yeah, you're mostly getting Spade. The last couple episodes he's in it a lot more, and he becomes like a central figure. And just watch the show. There's a lot of stuff that I don't want to spoil.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pull a spoilers McGee,
I don't know.
but it's definitely worth a watch.
So you get a what?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Cool. All right. Video games.
Games.
So let's do news first. I got an Xbox that didn't come in the mail today.
It's the other one. It's the other one. Oh.
All right, there you go. I feel like we kind of defeat the purpose with all of our. But anyways,
We make the sound effects ourselves.
I wanted to bring it and then like unbox it and basically just showcase my fortune and laugh at you peons for not having one, but I don't have one, so
I'm glad it didn't show up.
yeah.
Just for that reason.
Shows you.
It'll maybe show up tomorrow, and I might be able to like smell it before I have to run off and do military leave for 2 weeks. But so I'm excited about that coming in. Other than that, Cyberpunk
Delayed.
No, it's not delayed. All right, December 10th still. Okay.
2077.
They've gone to gold. They passed.
They went to gold for the last thing.
All right,
It's not coming out in
It's
December.
good. The reason why I got delayed was because the current gen consoles, you current gen peons, were holding back my Cyberpunk experience. Okay, because they had to like figure out how to downgrade. They had to make it crappy for the current generations instead of the new generations.
So you mean this game that was supposed to originally come out on the real console?
Actually, it's supposed to come out in like 360, I think, at one point. It's been forever.
So you're telling me they had, it was just so great that we had to downgrade, even though it had planned to come out on this console for years.
When they make a game, they make it with the most cutting-edge PC technology, and then they figure out how to port it sort of towards...
The new console wasn't the most cutting edge at the time because it hadn't been made yet.
Yeah, like all the graphics cards and stuff like that. Developers always get those kits first. So
They're going to be like, "No, we're going to delay it until PS6.
yeah, no, it's coming out December 10th.
2077.
There's been a lot of speculation and actually looking into the Cyberpunk, like what they will allow consoles to have has raised a lot of questions about what video games get over NVIDIA graphics cards and AMD graphics cards because apparently AMD is trying to corner the market on ray tracing. And what ray tracing is dynamic light. So if you go through, I don't know, like a jungle in a video game and you have like no clouds but sun coming down, you can see like each individual shadow of a leaf and stuff like that. It's in real time. That's very the most advanced thing in video games to date, this crazy light scheme. There's a really good video of it. I think it uses Watch Dogs, this new Legions game.
Mm-hmm.
There's some dude floating around by a skyscraper on a drone, and he turns ray tracing off. all you see is just like these mirrored skyscrapers with like a faint kind of reflection. You don't really see anything. And then when he turns it on, it's like as real as reality. Like you can see every reflection in every little mirror perfect, because of ray tracing. So it's a new big deal for video games, and a lot of games have confirmed that it's not coming out for console. I don't think the new Assassin's Creed has it, but Cyberpunk has, and so other people are like, wait a minute, why are all these other games only getting them for PC and not for these new consoles? And they're starting to look into like people are starting to speculate that AMD and Nvidia are basically trying to hold that technology just for their own graphics cards, which is pretty corrupt. It's like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's like saying Coca-Cola can only use bottles, not Pepsi, It's
You have to drink it out of a cup.
Yeah. So,
No bottle, no resealable vessel for you.
Exactly. So I hope they kind of get this figured out. And whenever something's brought new, like this haptic controller stuff for the new PlayStation, I'm sure they're going to patent that and pretend like only they can have that. And then if it catches off, does really well, Microsoft's going to want to emulate that, and then they're going to, what?
Your handwriting is so bad. I looked down at your notes, and I know what you wrote, but it looks like it says Cyan Pork Death Threat. I was like, Cyan Pork Death Threat? I was like, what the hell does that mean?
I'm getting to that, okay? It's very important, actually. It's my own language. All right. But anyways, the important thing is that, the technologies that come out with video games, that they try and it's like almost like the fuel economy.
Cyan Pork.
All right, relax. Stay focused, you third grader. If he's not distracted by a fly, he's distracted by whatever random thought comes into his head. So, anyways, we'll see what the future for competitive video game marketing is. That being said, because of the delays in Cyberpunk, not Cyberpork.
No, Cyan Pork.
Whatever.
We'll change that to my name in Among Us.
Because of the delays in that, the developers have been getting insane death threats, and it's for 21 days. That's all they're delaying it for. But
for the third time,
it's the fourth time. But still, it's not worth threat. Especially if you want something bad enough, you don't go to the person who's trying to give it to you and say, "I'm going to kill you." So, that's what's happening. They're threatening their families and all sorts of stuff.
And in the back of Hayden's mind, he's going, "That's probably not a bad idea."
No,
I've been waiting on this thing.
No, I believe in the system. I think that it's like Miyamoto says, a delayed game will eventually be good, but a rushed game will be bad forever. There you go.
All right, philosopher.
That's what Miyamoto said.
Confucius said.
Who the hell is Miyamoto?
The guy who made Mario.
Oh, well, good for him.
They'd be a legend in video game stuff. I guess I'm the only guy that knows all the ins and outs of the video game world.
Probably.
Seems that way.
But yeah,
compared to our listeners and everyone.
It's just weird because the video game market is, in the hundreds of billions of dollars now. It may have surpassed film, especially this year because of Corona and whatnot. So to see everything so radical with these death threats, people having these kind of market control schemes and all sorts of stuff. It's kind of crazy to see the most cutting edge, newer kind of frontier way of marketing control and what's going on. So, and this isn't even a country. This isn't even a gaming company in our country. This is in Poland. So I'm sure that their entertainment rights and laws are probably not as well developed as ours. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of crazy new stuff is going to come out from all of this, just as far as the legality of how games are being made. So I don't know. Maybe
did you get angry?
No.
Did you stab your notebook?
That's what was given to me.
Oh, okay.
A stabbed book?
Yeah.
A stabbed notepad? Why?
Relax,
I
everybody.
was just checking.
Everything is going to be fine.
Is the notepad the Cyan Pork?
So,
Looks like the death threat got carried out.
The game that I'm reviewing has absolutely nothing to do with what we talked about, except that Miyamoto has something to do with it. But anyways, Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Thought we reviewed that.
No, we haven't. We talked about it in the past. And we played a couple games of it, but this is my favorite game, and I gave it a 10 out of 10, right up front.
We have played it on the show.
We have played it.
We streamed it,
but we never actually reviewed it. So this was made by Bandai and Sora Limited. Bandai is kind of like a graphics processing generation powerhouse. Like they just basically make the models and make it look clean. Sora, the guy Masahiro Sakurai, the guy who's the creative genius behind Smash Brothers, his company basically made all the ins and outs and the complications of Smash Brothers. And from 64 to what it is on the current Switch console, it's a completely different game. But the premise is the same. Two of your favorite video game characters from Nintendo fight each other. Beat the crap out of each other. They use iconic items and stuff from other games, and they try and knock a guy out of a platform, off the screen, off a TV screen. And, you try and knock him off and kill him that way.
You just need Bowser.
Well, to each his own.
That's why you're a piece of crap.
But it's blossomed into this giant thing now. There's like 75 characters you can choose from, and it's been so popular that it's actually, I'd say, pioneered the cross-generation platforming stuff. Like Nintendo's done a lot for that. As Nintendo being a very like isolated company, has kind of come out of their shell a lot with Smash Brothers. They've allowed PlayStation characters and now Xbox characters.
Is Master Chief in it now?
There's rumor, but I doubt. They do have Steve from Minecraft, which is Xbox-owned character, and Banjo-Kazooie, which is an Xbox-owned character. So, and then they have all these Final Fantasy characters, which is PlayStation.
Is Kratos in it yet?
I doubt it. I think the most M-rated character they have is Snake from Metal Gear Solid. So.
Oh, he's in it?
Yeah.
I want Master Chief because he would win.
They have Metroid. That's kind of close.
Yeah.
As far as look.
It'd be really weird.
They have visors.
Metroid versus Master Chief. Well, Samus versus Master Chief.
Yeah.
My money be on the Chief.
I need a weapon. But yeah, it's a great game. It's the one game that everybody in my family can play. And there is a learning curve. Like you gotta learn. It's not complicated buttons, but you gotta learn how like the physics of the game works. But my 4-year-old kid is basically dominating in it, so you can pick it up pretty quick. I mean, I won't let him beat me, obviously, but yeah.
It was fun enough to where Hayden convinced me to trade in my PS4 with someone to get the Nintendo Switch just to play this game. Yeah. Because it's a lot of fun.
It is fun.
I just also like, Hayden talks a lot of crap about how good he is at this game.
I could beat you both.
Well, I don't know about both.
I could.
At the same time.
At the same time, I could.
We've proven that theory wrong with others.
There's video footage of it. And that was like the third time I've ever played it, and I managed to beat you.
That
at
was
least
one
once.
game. Well, you beat me with Mitchell.
No, Mitch just stood there and watched like he does in Warzone.
Okay. So how about this? How about we make it interesting? We'll play again. All right, when I get back, and we'll see which one of us is the best then.
Now, granted, I'm not the greatest, but I have beat you one-on-one a couple of times.
Okay, so let's just.
I'm just saying.
Let's just play.
Yeah.
We'll do best of 3.
Yeah.
Out of the 3 of us.
Before we all played, he went on and on like he was like this omnipotent figure in Smash Brothers.
I'm pretty good at it. I've been playing.
Now he's saying he's pretty good.
He is really
he's
good.
Like, I'm the best. I'm the best.
I tell you right now, I'm the best out of the 3 of us. So.
Well, yes.
We can make it interesting if you want to.
I'm interested.
All right. So I say for the next go around, we'll play when I get back from military leave, and the loser has to do that week's punishment.
But if we're on the team against you,
what?
Then who's?
Yeah.
No.
There's 2 on 1.
I thought we were doing free for all.
Well, you just said you could beat both of us.
I can. You want to do it that way?
Yeah.
Then you both have to do punishments then.
Okay.
All right, we'll do it that way.
We'll take those odds.
So,
Tom's we'll be playing like a week straight.
And I'm like, I got my Elite controller now for the Switch. And I'm just like, time to start practicing.
You do whatever you gotta do. We'll figure a way to coordinate it where we can get it recorded and put it online too. So make it interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go. I'm looking forward to that and winning. That's our news and review section. If you have anything specific that you want us to talk about in the future, let us know on our social medias.
Or in the past.
and we will throw it up for the next week's episode or whatever, and do as much research as we can. If you talk specifically about something that you want to us, we'll definitely do our P's and Q's on it, making sure that we have everything as much as possible. So, All right.
We like conversation.
Next, we're doing our top 10 list of.
I don't know really how to describe it. It's reality-based TV.
Okay.
So, like, examples are like Survivor, Ancient Aliens, Honey Boo Boo. Not necessarily those shows, but that kind of genre.
Honey Boo Boo was on this list?
No.
These are the ones that
I'm just
we
giving
liked.
an example of
I was like,
what
we
this
talked
kind of
about
shows
the
were.
list. I don't remember that being one of them.
These are the ones that we liked, and then we posted them online, and you guys picked out of the ones we liked, which ones you liked, and we put them on top. So
Now, out of our poll, Mythbusters is number one.
Okay.
And we had the most votes for it. It by at least, I guess, about 3. It beat out My the Show. But we'll talk about Mythbusters first.
Okay. It's like, what, 20? Well, they ended it 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And
I think it was a little bit longer.
And then went almost 20 seasons, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
So,
That was a show. I mean, you would watch that in school. Like when I was in high school, like we would watch episodes of Mythbusters just because of how well they would do stuff.
it was cool. I
It
mean,
was a very good show.
inevitably, they would do something, and if it didn't work, they'd blow it up. So that was always a lot of fun,
Blowing things up is always funny.
But it was cool just to see some of these things that you'd heard about. Never would have imagined it would work. Like them lifting a car with 3 drops of like super glue.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
I think that sometimes they kind of touched on, like they kind of stepped over myths they've already done, in the past. I'm trying to think of an example, but like they would like kind of do the same thing, maybe like.
I mean, after 20 seasons.
Yeah, it'd be hard not.
How
to.
many myths are there?
Well, a lot of times they would take what people had seen in a movie or something to see if it could actually be done as well.
That was cool. Yeah, I liked it when they
cut like the car in half, like in Bond.
Yeah.
Driving around with the front half to see if it would actually work, and it did.
Yeah.
They showed that Jack could have survived on the door in Titanic.
That was a very important episode.
Those were a lot of fun. I wish they kind of had gone that route. They just evolved Mythbusters into being like a movie, could it happen kind of thing. But, they just ended up. I think the 2 dudes, the walrus guy and the nerd, what's his
Jamie
name?
Heineman.
Yeah, and the other dude.
Adam Savage.
Those guys, I think they had like a lot of issues in the show with each other, and they ended up just calling it after a while. But I mean, like, you blowing stuff up with a dude for 20 years, you're probably gonna,
Now I don't remember the 3 names, but their 3 like associates, they had their own Netflix show that was.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but they had their own Netflix show for a little while afterwards.
And then Grant Himenara
died.
He died this year. So
yeah.
Although Adam Savage does have his own YouTube channel where he does a lot of Mythbuster-esque stuff, like
Yeah.
one day builds.
he's an interesting guy, but he kind of goes off the rails, and you're just like watch him do weird stuff for a while, and you're like, I could see why he would be an issue on set. They got to ring him in a little bit, but
Jamie Heineman's mustache had enough.
yeah. All right, what's next?
Next, my show, Expedition Unknown,
Yeah.
where basically you have Josh Gates. He's kind of a comedian. I don't know if he's wanting to be a comedian or he's just that funny, but he basically travels around the world looking up these myths and I guess just almost like treasure hunting, just different things.
Forgotten places. And
Yeah, like a lot of times for this show he just joins in with other people that are
Current
actually
expeditions.
that are actually doing archaeological expeditions and all that stuff, and like he's joined in with them when they were finding some new mummies that were out by the Great Pyramids. They found like 2 or 3 new ones with the jewels and stuff still in place.
Wow.
There's this this book called The Secret, where this, I guess, very wealthy person hid like 13 jewels, and in the book it gives you almost like a riddle kind of clues to where they're at, and you got to solve it. And he's joined in with 2 guys throughout his 8 years on the show that have actually joined them as they found the jewel. So I mean, a lot of stuff. Sometimes they don't find anything. He just follows the leads. And the other people show him where they go with this stuff. But it's a pretty fun show to watch. Even if he's not finding something, he's entertaining enough to watch. Like sometimes he'll eat exotic cuisine as he's going along.
Monkey brains.
Well, he was in Japan researching this mythical sword that was supposed to be real, and he was eating octopus and it's still moving on the plate as he's eating it. I was like, ugh.
No. I like my food dead.
But I mean, he does everything from scuba diving under the water, to cave diving, traveling through the Sahara, whatever, to find his stuff. So.
It's an interesting show. Sometimes they're like, we're so close to finding this thing, and then they hit it's like the last 5 minutes of the show, and they're like, we can't go any further. That's as far as we can go. It's
well, yeah. I think the one you're talking about, they went down to a cave looking for the was it the Library of Gold or something like that, and they got to a point where they just couldn't go any further in the cave. They're
like, well, that's it. Bye.
yeah.
Tune in next week to find the Ark of the Covenant. I bet you they don't find it.
Just saying.
But it was a good show. It's still
I haven't
on.
watched it.
With all the Corona stuff going on, they've kind of had a Josh Gates Tonight talk show where he's been reviewing and talking through Zoom with some of these other people. It's not really. It's more exciting to see him go to these places and do the stuff. But
all right, next is Mail Call.
Yes,
great show.
It was fun.
That show made the History Channel fun.
Arlie Ermy
shooting watermelons, big guns, lots of nonsense.
I just feel
the outtakes for that show should be its own show.
Does he just hold back on the profanity?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah,
the outtakes are hysterical. Like a horse doesn't do something, the gun jams. He drives past something, goes. You just see him throw his hands up and just start swearing.
I remember my dad watching.
The camera guys going back and forth, giving each other the business, and he's just cracking a smile the whole time. You could tell he had a lot of fun making that show.
Yeah,
my dad watched this religiously as I was growing up. If it was on, that's what we were watching.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. Just to listen to him tell his version of what what he thought about stuff was.
Or the people would write into the show, and some of the outtakes, he'd be like, "Hey," he's like, "Hey, Gunny, I'm so." He's like, "You want anyone else? You're a fucking idiot." He starts yelling at the camera.
Damn.
He's like, "That's a dumb question." He just throws the paper.
Yeah, he seems pretty old school.
He is a very old school guy. If you haven't watched it, look up some clips of that show. That show made me really appreciate guns and the science behind a lot of stuff. Because he did a good job explaining a lot of the things.
He's a very intelligent guy.
He's a very smart person.
He was a regular guy that just
happened to make it into the movie somehow.
Yeah, he worked his way in by being pretty much charismatic and smart. So
if you're easily offended, I would not recommend this. Just because he's very demeaning towards some of his write-ins.
Yes, and the watermelons.
But they're funny. So, all right, next we'll move on to, I think it was yours.
Yeah, Forge and Fire.
Yeah.
So I don't really I say I don't like Cake Bots and all that other kind of competitive creation shows, but there's actually another one. It's actually a cake show, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Great British Bake Off.
No. Forge and Fire is a lot of fun, though. It's basically a bunch of rednecks get together and they give them, a railway spike and some rebar, and they're like, make the Masamune katana or something like that. You have 30 minutes. And they just, run around with a lighter and some coal and make something happen.
And a hammer. Yeah. It's broken.
Now it's not that bad, but they do have I remember they had to make a knife out of a spool of barbed wire, and they had to use an old coal forge, and that was just crazy because these people, their jobs in real life, well, at least their hobbies in real life are to blacksmith or knife works or whatever it is, and to see them just be like, how the hell am I supposed to do that and do that? Just see them just struggle. I don't watch enough of the episode where I feel like I could probably do it. No, I couldn't do it. I have no idea what I would be doing. I would definitely embarrass myself. But it's still fascinating, and you learn a lot about weapons and blacksmithing and folding and.
Tampering.
I found out what Damascus is. It's not.
What is Damascus?
So you take all these different folds of a type of iron or steel or whatever, and then you kind of blend them together with an acidic base of some sort, acidic something that you put on it.
Is it the powder or something?
No, it's you got to fold them. You have to fold a bunch together so that they'll sandwich a bunch of steel on top of each other, right? And then they'll forge it together so tight that you can't even see the seams between it. And all those lines and cool looking things of Damascus is those lines of the the seams blending together with that acid resin on top or whatever it is. So it's pretty interesting. They do a good job like breaking it down and explaining it to you. So
I always find it funny when they're like, oh, let's take this knife, let's test it out. And they beat it against granite. And they're like, oh, the edge was bended. What? No crap, it's bending.
Well, those are master knife people, and the judges. I was like, those judges can't do anything. And then they have like a judge episode where they get the judges to come in and prove that they can, and that the crap that they make under the same conditions they make their contestants go through, they do it, and there's a reason why they're masters because like their crap don't break.
I know, it's just like you're
I made
beating it
this
against
sword,
concrete.
puts it underneath like a hydraulic press. It's like it broke.
Yeah.
Thing's a hunk of crap. You suck.
That's essentially it. You know, but I mean, I guess it proves why some weapons have better quality than other weapons. So, great show. I love that show.
Next one, we got Dirty Jobs.
Great show.
So Derek,
Makes me really appreciate
With
working
micro.
indoors with air conditioning.
Yeah, I remember seeing him do something like the there was one where like he had to get the
Septic
gooey
tank.
ducks. Like he was
yeah.
in the pond, like
Well,
pulled it. I was like, oh.
One thing I remember like watching that show, like a lot of these jobs make me appreciate my job.
Yeah.
And also I was like, man, Mike Rowe was jacked.
yeah, he was.
That dude is
He had a very
felt.
He had a very sultry voice too. I think he was like an operatic singer or something
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
Yeah.
I know
He's a manly man.
he went
Yeah.
from Dirty Jobs to being the voice for Ford or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know the
You know,
commercials.
you know he does well. He's-
You know,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But like I remember him doing that septic tank episode,
Ugh.
and he had to go clean out a clogged septic tank or something like that. And he put on a suit and just jumped in there. When he was done, he was like, "I've done a lot of dirty jobs, but I'm never doing that one again." And I was like, "I wouldn't do it to begin with, man." You know,
Like there's not enough money
yeah,
to make me get in there.
it was pretty crazy. I think the best part of that show was him reacting to how crazy people are for doing dirty jobs, like chicken sexing. Remember that one?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a conveyor belt of chicks, and you gotta grab them and squeeze them, and they poop in a certain direction. All right, so whichever direction you can tell is male or female, and he's trying to like cut jokes because it's a weird thing, right? And the guy that is teaching him how to do it is just as serious as can be. He's so robotic.
Neil Breen.
Yeah, he's there's no humor to be had about chicken sexing. So
Next ones we got Unsolved Mysteries.
Tonight on Unsolved.
all right, 102. Yeah, bleep that one out. So.
When I knew you were gonna say it in my head, I was like, "No, don't say it." I was like, "No, I'm gonna say it."
All right, you're gonna go tell them how many times you curse, so when they bleep it out.
4.
All right. Yeah, it's a good show. I watched the Netflix one. I haven't watched the original ones. So we talked
Yeah.
a lot about this show too. So
You're like, yeah, that was a good show.
I never watched it. That's the Tourette's guy YouTube spoof where he wears the stupid overcoat.
we talked a lot about that show in the past.
Well, that was number 6. Now we'll go to number 7, which is Top Gear.
This should have been number 1. It's the best show on there.
It got 2 votes.
Maybe you don't like cars.
It doesn't even matter. It's not even that show became more about cars. It's like here's 3 friends puttering about, getting into nonsense with each other, and
Yeah.
cars happen to be a part of it.
It's fun from what I've seen.
The dynamic between the 3 of them can't be replicated.
Sometimes they're talking about exhaust manifolds and whatnot. and
Well,
I'm
that's
like,
just James.
I
Jeremy
don't-
just sits there, goes cross-eyed, and starts falling asleep.
I don't know anything about what's going on right now. So
Number 8, Movies That Made Us.
that's my favorite one. That's the one I put down. I voted for.
Why is that your favorite?
Because sometimes movies that the way that they got made is more interesting than the movie itself. And there's only one season on Netflix, but I started like Die Hard. I always wondered like the real story behind the making of Die Hard. I heard a lot of stuff, and they go into great detail about how Die Hard was made. It was fascinating. And the next one was Home Alone, and I watched that one.
How you got Joe Pesci to star in a kids movie?
Yeah, and,
I want to know what his dad did to afford that house. It's
great.
and send the whole family to Paris.
Great show. And then even I was like Dirty Dancing. It's the last one. I don't know if I want to watch it. And I watched it. I was like fascinated, and it made me want to go back and watch Dirty Dancing. Because of how it was made.
Heard the time of my life.
But yeah, so just the way that because the film industry is like an empire with a shelf life of 2 years. You get tons of money, tons of people, tons of resources and locations and whatnot, and you just burn through it as fast as possible to output a movie. And to see how that's done, like no other job I can think does that. So it's really cool. Just basically documentaries on how movies are made. So there you go.
Number 9, Deadliest Warrior.
That was a cool show.
It was fun just to see him like hit the pigs and stuff like the
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
because it's like the
whatever weapon.
closest like anatomically,
Yeah.
with like skin density and bone density.
that just to see some of like the different traps and stuff that certain
Mm-hmm.
like regimes or whatever character uses these attacks or whatever, just to see it hit the gelatin, what would actually happen.
Right.
And then the fight between the two at the end
Yeah.
to see who would win.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff is like, how would these armors and weapons stack up if they were pitted against one another, even though, some of them they were centuries apart,
Yeah,
where some weapons like wouldn't even pierce older armor.
right.
Yeah, like I think they did the katana versus the bastard sword, and everybody thought the katana would win, and the bastard sword one was actually the one that won the duel.
Yeah,
So I don't know how they verified that, but yeah.
and we'll move on. The rest of these are kind of tied for last, which is Naked and Afraid.
It's funny if you want to watch a bunch of hipsters just be naked in the woods and cry
And afraid.
because they think that they could be vegan, and survive 30 days without any nourishment. I don't know. If you like watching people being miserable, it's great.
It's always a bunch of hipsters or a bunch of people that think they're tough.
Yeah.
That it's like, dude, you can't survive out in the woods. You got to eat like 500,000 calories of protein just to survive.
Yeah.
It's like their like opener is like Chris Pratt doing the opener spoof on Parks and Rec to be on like Survivor or something.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like in like a kiddie pool, and he's got like his like pants rolled up to his shorts. He's got like a bandana on, and he's holding a fish. And he's like, "Oh man, you do want?" He just like rips the guts out. And he's like, "No, I want to be on." It's like that's the people you get for this show.
I think a great example, though, just one snippet of the show on Naked and Afraid is they have a vegan troop of people, and they have foraged everything in this jungle that they could find. And then this lady is part of the meat eaters. That's how they've organized themselves, as the meat eaters and the vegans somehow living together. She kills this giant eel. It's like 6 feet long, and they're just eating it and just like, it's so delicious. You guys sure what's up? They're just sitting there like all emaciated,
Starving.
like
Eating
chewing
them.
on a stick or something like that. So,
No, I'm gonna eat my my grilled grass with nothing.
lady, go eat the meat. It's dead already. It wasn't matter.
Then the next one was Nailed It. I don't know what that is.
Nailed It is a cake cooking. This is one of my favorite shows too. I watch it with the kids too. It's funny. So like they'll do like for instance they did the Trump election one last election obviously, and they had all these amateur and they're like really small time, maybe make a cookie here and there bakers, and they get them together and they give them astronomical times, like 30 minutes to make this elaborate cake, and you have to use, an actual rose or something like that. So they'll put all these elements together, and they'll show you an example of how beautiful it's supposed to be, and they'll cut to each individual contestant's horribly deformed cake. Like one of them looked like an aborted fetus or something like that for one of the Trump ones. I was like, oh, God. And then the judges have to eat it. So you can tell they're just like, you used only salt and no sugar in this one. It's just hilarious.
After that, we have No Reservation, which I don't know what that one is.
No
either.
Reservation with Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really good show. I think it was on the Travel Channel.
That's where he went around and ate stuff.
I got a friend who loves that show.
Yeah, he went around, toured different all over the world, different restaurants, different kinds of cuisine, checking out all these places. It was a really, really good show.
Then we have Destination Truth, which is another one with Josh Gates. It's an older show, but basically he would go around and he'd research myths and monsters like Bigfoot and vampires and werewolves and all sorts of
The New
different things.
Jersey Devil.
It was fun to watch just because they do like ghost hunting kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
it was fun to watch just because of
Not
his
find a
personality.
damn thing.
It's still funny though. And then after that was Fight Science, which another one I liked. It's along the Deadliest Warrior kind of thing, but it shows how different fighting styles could be used and how your body can be used and the pressure points and things like that. After that, we have last is Surviving the Cut.
Yeah, I already talked about. Didn't we talk about it?
No, we did not.
All right, it's a bunch of random civilians that try to
No,
go
it's
through.
not.
Is that?
No, Surviving the Cut was a Discovery Channel show where they would showcase all like the elite military
Oh
schools.
yeah.
And it was got military guys going through it, like their selection process and tryouts.
Yeah, you're right.
I think they did like 4 seasons.
I don't know.
It was a really good show. Check it out.
Okay. There you go. That is our top 10
Reality based
Well,
TV.
and,
Film shows.
And you've all given some interesting input on it. And yeah, I'd say Mythbusters is an honorable number 1.
No, Top Gear is.
Summer Tower.
Yeah, we appreciate. And if you are coming to this late and you're hearing this and you think no, Top Gear is number 1, get on our Facebook and blow it up and tell us how much we suck.
Let us know and let us know why.
All right, that does it for this week's episode. Before we go, though, we have to spin that wheel. And it should be known that I am null and void from this week because I won't be here next week. So,
But if you get it, how are you going to do a review?
I'm not going to get it.
We'll see about that.
I won't be here next week, so.
All right.
Yes! Whoa! That is awesome. All right, Mitch.
Well, what did I get to punish you with?
It's TV.
TV.
What, Animorphs season 2?
No, do something better.
You're gonna watch the annoying Orange Show.
Oh, like that stupid superimposed eyes and mouth on the orange? I've watched it.
Have you really?
Yeah.
You watch the weirdest stuff.
Do you have anything else?
No, my nephew loves that show.
Hold on. I got one. Let me look it up real quick.
Let me Google a crappy show.
I've got it on here. Oh, I remember I looked up Zoobly Zoo.
Zoobly Zoo?
Yes.
What is that?
Is it the one with like the lemur monkey that made you like zoom boom?
No.
No, that was. I had to watch that one, didn't I?
Did you?
I think I did. Or no, maybe you did.
Ah, one of you two.
I don't know. That was back before YouTube.
This is some
For
BS.
us. 4 in a row, man. I'm impressed.
I gotta find this thing.
Your dad is like a prophet. Tell him to find out what the next week's winning lottery numbers are.
It's like a lower budget Cats.
I've never wanted to commit murder until now. This looks like the dopey kids version of the Wizard of Oz.
Wow. A lot of money went into that.
They just
All right, we gotta wrap it up. Well,
is it like a musical?
that's awesome. That is some sweet justice right there. So
God.
I am eagerly awaiting to hear Tom's review of that. So you know, we'll see you back on Monday for Tom's review.
Or I'll commit seppuku. I don't know.
And yeah, and talk to us on Facebook, and we'll see you back. I'll see you back in a couple weeks. They'll be here next week. So goodbye from Mitch.
Bye.
Goodbye from Tom.
Bye.
And goodbye from me. And goodbye.
I totally forgot about that show. That was a show that when I was a kid, I would watch the show, and then that would come on after, and I'd be like, oh my God, change the channel.